Hi, welcome to the Mangala Samiti podcast, where I talk about business, life, personal development, and other ideas that matter. I am your host, Mangala Samiti, and I am many things: a chartered global management accountant, CFO, author, voiceover artist, and so much more. But I really am just one thing, and that is a creator. I create content and solutions to problems and challenges. I hope this podcast will help you on your own journey to greatness. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode. I want to speak about your superpower vis-a-vis the infamous SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What it is, why it's important, how you develop one for yourself, and how you use it. A SWOT is a very useful tool to appraise yourself as an individual. In strategic management, we do an internal and external analysis to identify the elements that go into the SWOT of a business. So inherently, strengths and weaknesses are internal, you look inside, and opportunities and threats are external to yourself as an individual. So we're taking those same principles from a business standpoint and bringing them down onto a personal level. You see, it's a self-analysis that you need to undertake and keep on a continuous basis, moving things around as you are on your own journey to greatness. So as you go along, and ideally you want to do this, say for instance, once a year. As you go along, some strengths will become weaknesses, some weaknesses will become strengths. As you correct them, some opportunities will fall off, some new opportunities will come onto the SWOT, some threats will fall off, there'll be new threats that come on, and you want to keep it on a continuous and consistent ongoing basis so you know exactly what your own personal SWOT is and where you stand. A SWOT is important for you because it culminates all these different areas, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, into one single holistic view. And you need to be fully aware of your strengths. This is why it's important, of your strengths. The strengths that will allow you to take advantage of opportunities, the opportunities coming your way, and deal with threats as they arise. From a motivation standpoint, you need to focus on the things that you're good at, which is your strengths, and use those strengths. You need to double down, triple down, even quadruple down on those strengths when you are on your journey. So I would take myself as an example. My own strengths include persistence, I never give up, opportunity identification, optimism, I'm always looking forward to the best of every situation. I have an emergency fund, some investments in shares, crypto. I'm a chartered management accountant. I'm very strong at managing money, accounting, and crafting business financials, taxes, business taxes. I'm a very quick learner, and so on. From a weakness standpoint, a weakness on my SWOT is I don't have a degree. And where the South African market largely recognizes academic education and degrees, certain opportunities are closed off for me, because the market is only getting to understand professional qualifications, which is what I have, which is the Chartered Global Management Accountant qualification. So in order for me to correct this weakness, I'm pursuing an MBA, which will then become a strength on my SWOT. For you as an individual, you cannot be a consistent high achiever without doing this exercise for yourself and having your own SWOT, which is why it is absolutely imperative that you take the time to develop a SWOT for yourself. Let me give you an example of COVID. COVID is effectively a threat that would sit on your SWOT because it is an external factor. You see, if you lost your job, right, but you had an emergency fund with plenty of savings, the impact on you would have been reduced as a result of this strength. Similarly, if, say for instance, a medical emergency befalls you, which would be a threat, you have medical aid or you have plenty of savings to cushion this emergency, it's a strength on your SWOT. However, if you struggle to meet the bill, you can then say that you have a weakness on your SWOT and it needs to be corrected. Another example, there may be a promotion at your job or you want to start a business, which are effectively opportunities. You need the skills or the capital, which are strengths, to pursue these opportunities. How do you develop your SWOT? First and foremost, you need to be as honest as possible, extremely honest. This is about you after all. So you cannot go Google and try to copy that. Don't even try go there. You have to be honest. Start from a blank slate. Get a paper with a pen or maybe on your phone, laptop, wherever it is that you can write. And let's start from the strengths. You start with the strengths, and the question here is, what are you good at? What are the things that people praise you for? The things that you have achieved. Write them all down, everything. So things like you have a diploma or a degree or a certificate in something, you have savings of X amount, you have investments, you have multiple sources of income. Write all of these down in detail. You also have personal attributes like maybe you write well, you are extremely confident, you are a great communicator, a very good listener, and so on. Write all of these elements down. Really drill down and think of all the strengths that you have. After you're done with strengths, we then move on to weaknesses. The question here is, what are you not so great at that could be better? It could be, as an example, believing in yourself. Maybe you need to believe in yourself more. Managing your personal finances, startup capital for your business, and so on. Write them down. Another way that you can develop your weaknesses, now this one you can Google. You can Google jobs that you want to get. So if, say, for instance, you want to be a finance manager, you want to be a marketing manager, you want to be a chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, you want to be an entrepreneur, look at the jobs out there in the market and look at the skills that are required for those jobs and ask yourself, of those skills, which skills do you not have? Which ones don't you meet? The skills that you lack would be weaknesses on your SWOT. After doing the weaknesses, let's go to opportunities. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to start a business, a better job, maybe buy a car, a house, grow and increase your savings, invest more, etc.? There could be so many more opportunities out there in the market, but this is about you from a personal standpoint. So develop and write down the opportunities that you see. Threats. COVID should be definitely number one. COVID is the biggest threat right now that should be sitting on everybody's SWOT. Put COVID there. Other things, think about the threats that exist to you as an individual. As an example, where do you live? How's the security there? Is the security good or is the security not so good? If the security is not good and the place is prone to robberies, that is a threat. Another threat could be an accident. An accident is a real threat because it can incapacitate you and reduce your ability to earn an income. Even death. Death also should exist as a threat on your SWOT, because how do you take care of your family in the instance that you do die? Do not feel bad about it. You have to be real. It has to be realistic. You have to think through the exact detail. Think through it and write it down. The thing I really love about the SWOT is how it brings everything into perspective. There's just something about it where everything becomes so clear. So for instance, you do know that you do have certain strengths or there's certain weaknesses there, but when you develop your own SWOT and you really sit down, think about it and write it down, everything just comes alive and you have an aha moment where everything you've achieved up to this point becomes clear. And you begin to see why certain things that you didn't achieve, you didn't. And the reasons why, because of the SWOT. So now you've crafted your SWOT, you've written down all your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. The next step is, how do you use this SWOT? And I'm sure some of you have already grasped it here. But here we go. The opportunities you see, the opportunities you've put down on your SWOT, tell me, can you go after them with your strengths? The threats you face, can you deal with them easily with your strengths? For instance, if managing your personal finances is a weakness, you cannot save and invest more. And if an accident happens, you certainly have a tough time because you do not have savings. It's a weakness on your SWOT. However, the inverse is true. If an accident were to happen and managing your personal finances was a strength, you would easily wade through it. You'd easily get through it. And that's the point. In the event of death, which is a threat, and you have life insurance, which would be a strength, you know your family will be taken care of. So that removes one of the worries that you would have. That is how the SWOT is now interplaying, and these are the things that you are now looking at. If a promotion comes and you have the skills, you apply for it confidently, maybe even get the job. But you will definitely apply for it because you do meet the criteria that is required, right? The beauty of the SWOT, once again, is everything is all tied together. You see all of it and it all works as a unit. Now, moving forward, then comes how to interplay the SWOT and how to move things around. Maybe say you always feel tired or stressed. You should start exercise, meditation, to get you in shape and get you fit. So you're always tired, you're always stressed. That is a weakness. How exactly do you change that? You say, you know what? I want to get fit. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start working out so that I am no longer feeling stressed and I can remove this weakness. Let's say, for instance, you want to change jobs, but you don't have the skills. Take some courses to correct this. Read more books and expand your knowledge. Maybe you've identified an opportunity in Pietermaritzburg, Mthatha, or anywhere else, and you've started a business. And one of your weaknesses is you don't have the skill for accounting and tax, or social media marketing, IT systems, so on and so forth. To correct this weakness, you can either do some short courses too, or engage the services of a professional. You could get an accountant to do the accounting and taxes for you and the financials. You could get a social media marketer to help you out with the social media. You can get an IT specialist who can help you out with developing your IT systems. But all in all, it's because you have all of these things on your SWOT and you've taken the time to identify these areas on your SWOT, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, and you have clear insight that you will be able to now deal with these issues. Your approach has to be purposeful and proactive. And when you begin to take the time to really analyze yourself and keep a written record of your SWOT that you constantly review on an ongoing basis, you start seeing things begin to change and your trajectory to stardom shoot up. Do not leave anything to chance. Be ready and be prepared. Ensure your SWOT is there, locked and loaded. It's your best friend. Keep it close to you. Keep reviewing it. Make it consistent. Have it there with you as you succeed. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I wish you the very best. I really, really want to hear from you and your own experience and your journey with your SWOT, how you've crafted it, and how it's come along. Please send me an email. Let's chat on mangaliso.meaty@gmail.com, and I promise to respond to you. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Until next time.